G'day guys, and welcome back to another video on my channel, Nintendo Down Under. The Nintendo Switch has some fantastic games, obviously. We've loved the Breath of the Wild, Odysseys, Mario Kart, Splatoons, all some great games. But I think they can start bringing back some classic franchises that really have just gone dead. We're talking some really good games too. And for some reason, Nintendo is sitting on these IPs and they're not using them. They have the rights to these games, and it's about time Nintendo got off their ass and made these games. Honestly, they would be money makers. As big Nintendo fans, if you're like me growing up through the years with the different consoles, you would love to see these games come to the Nintendo Switch. So the first game that we need to talk about, what I want to talk about, is Wave Race. Now, when this game came out on the Nintendo 64, the graphics, I will not lie, blew my mind at the time. The sea, water, the sunshine, the way it moved with its control sticks. This game was fantastic at the time. I remember playing this heaps with my cousin. We played it for hours and hours and hours. And at the time, it was really high-tech stuff. There was a follow-on game on the GameCube, and look, the graphics were much improved on the GameCube. It was really good, but the game had no heart. It lacked a bit of charm. It just wasn't the same thing. So for some reason, Nintendo decided that, well, this didn't really sell too well on the GameCube. We'll just flat out stop the franchise. And I think that's a big mistake moving forward. Wave Race on the Nintendo Switch would be fantastic. I think if they made this right now, people would be like, yes, I'm going to pre-order it, I'm going to go get it. It'd be fantastic. I definitely think it's time. Nintendo revitalized Wave Race on the Nintendo Switch. How fantastic would that be? Right, next we're going to talk about F-Zero. This franchise was fantastic. F-Zero on the Super Nintendo was okay, but F-Zero X on the Nintendo 64, that really stepped it up. 30 vehicles, plenty of cups, fast moving paced gameplay. The graphics took a hit, so the frame rate could keep up, but that was okay because the game was so fast and awesome. Awesome soundtrack. I'm not a heavy metal fan, but it just suited that game. And then we got F-Zero GX on the GameCube, and that was a really cool game too. The graphics stepped up even further. The speed was even faster. It was much harder than its previous games, but still a fantastic game. We got a few handhelds, and then we see F-Zero featured in Super Smash Bros. And in Mario Kart. But that's about it for F-Zero. I think it's time Nintendo realized that people are starting to talk about it. We want to see F-Zero come back. Can you imagine an F-Zero game on the Nintendo Switch? How amazing that would be with the graphics. You could do so much. You got 30 characters to play with. You could do custom tracks, custom vehicles. There's so many options there. Nintendo's excuse though for not making an F-Zero game is, oh well, we don't have any more bright ideas. What can we do that ups the ante? You don't really need to think that hard. People aren't wanting something that's gonna change the game too much. We want a game that we haven't played for ages, so people will be fresh in everyone's mind. It's not thrashed out like your Marios and your Zeldas that come out every year. People would love F-Zero. Well, I'm talking on behalf of the people because I know a lot of friends of mine who actually would love an F-Zero game on the Nintendo Switch, but I definitely think it's time to revitalize this bad boy. Another game that I know people would absolutely love to see is a Pokemon Snap 2 on the Nintendo Switch. How amazing would that be? I remember when this game was announced when I was a kid, I was like, oh, Pokemon Snap. Taking photos of Pokemon, that sounds shit. As a kid, I thought that sounded shit. I hired it from Video Easy at the time, plugged it in at home, well, put it in my Nintendo 64. I was like, wow, I can't believe how much fun it is to take photos of Pokemon. Pokemon in 3D, how awesome is that? And that's pretty much as far as that little franchise went. I thought the Wii U was a great opportunity for a Pokemon Snap 2 game. With the gamepad able to take photos, imagine trying to take photos of that gamepad. That would be really awesome. There was the option there. You got Nintendo Labo, which has a camera, and there's no Pokemon Snap. Yes, there's all Pokemon Go games now, and Pokemon this and Pokemon that, but this game's very unique, I feel, and I reckon this would be fantastic on the Nintendo Switch. A bit like the F-Zero franchise, Nintendo has said, well, we can't think of any new ideas, so what can we do with that franchise? We'll just leave it alone. Well, you don't really need to do too much. Up the graphics. Put a hell of a lot more Pokemon in it. The Pokemon world has grown so much. So many more Pokemon now, not just first gen anymore. You chuck them in there as well. Bigger worlds to explore, more photos to take. There's plenty of options you could do. It doesn't need to be over the top. Like, let's make a Nintendo console out of cardboard, like Nintendo do some crazy things. You don't need to go over the top sometimes. Just little basic tweaks is all you need for a great game like this. So this next franchise is probably a little bit more complicated to try and bring to the Nintendo Switch with different rights issues and stuff like that. But I remember as a kid, growing up loving Star Wars. I watched the old Star Wars movies over and over and over again. And when Nintendo 64 that's terrible English, Rogue Squadron to the Nintendo 64, that blew my mind. I remember getting in the X-Wing for the first time, flying around, shooting other TIEs, battling the Empire, visiting different parts of the Star Wars universe that you've seen and read about. It was amazing. And then we got some great follow-up games on the GameCube of the Rogue Squadron series, game number 2 and 3. And these games today still play awesomely. They hold up so well. The graphics, the movements of the controller with the flying the different vehicles. The game is amazing. So I don't know how you're going to do this one, Nintendo, but you need to pull a rabbit out of the bag and make this happen. I think if you want people to buy a Nintendo Switch, this is something you need to consider. How can we make people buy Nintendo Switches? If we announce a new Rogue Squadron game, you will be getting a lot of people that used to play these games that don't have a Nintendo Switch, or getting people that might have an Xbox or a PlayStation who want a game like this. Then you've got a winner. Go and make this happen. Get on the phone, get on email, write a letter, fax someone. Morse code if you have to. Let's get this on the Nintendo Switch. And my last request, I guess, to Nintendo, that I think it's time to piss off the 2D scrollers. Give us an open world Donkey Kong game again. This wasn't obviously open world, but it's time to shake it up. That franchise for me has gotten stale. Yes, I love Donkey Kong games and I buy the game, but I find when I'm playing, like say Tropical Freeze at the moment, I get a bit bored of it. Just doing the same things, going side-scrolling, jumping on the same enemies. It's time to explore the Donkey Kong world again. Open world it, collect things, do things, not just side-scrolling. I'm really bored with that. As you can, this is my copy also from when I was a kid. I got this from Target. Yes, it cost $94 back when it was made 20 odd years ago. But it's definitely time to revitalise this. There's plenty of options, plenty of things they could do and explore to revitalise this franchise, because everyone knows Donkey Kong, everyone loves Donkey Kong. So you're really sitting on a winner there. You got Mario games, you got Zelda games, you got Donkey Kong games. They get announced and people get excited about it and go get it. But because Nintendo know that, they can be a bit lazy, I feel. So it's time to up the ante, Nintendo. And instead of a 2D side scroller, give us an open world game, or maybe some sort of sequel to Donkey Kong Country 64. Well, it's not Country, Donkey Kong 64. Definitely time for a change. And that's about it for today's video, guys. I enjoyed it. Predicting the future, what games Nintendo should bring back. I reckon I'm on the money with a few of them, but I'm sure the opinion varies lots. If the world was our oyster, yes, we'd love another GoldenEye game, another Conker's Bad Fur Day, a Banjo 3. Unfortunately, the rights to those games are all tied up and messy with different people, but let's not lose hope. Nintendo may have the rights to make those games one day, once again. But let's hear your feedback. What games would you love to see in Nintendo, the Nintendo Switch? I love to read people's opinions, so in the comments down below, let me know what you think. If you haven't already, don't forget to like us on Facebook, Nintendo Down Under. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Nintendo Down Under. And as always, guys, thank you very, very, very much for watching, and take care.